An opportunity for betterment. Life presents us with many obstacles to navigate through or overcome. Each time we meet resistance or struggle, life offers us a new opportunity for growth. But facing challenges doesn't mean we will overcome them, and overcoming them doesn't promise we will grow for them. Stress and difficulty are required for growth. However, overcoming challenges isn't necessary for us to evolve through the experience. We often seek challenges if we are not finding them in our daily lives. Even though we all love things that give us comfort and pleasure, those things rarely give us the opportunity for betterment. Have you ever returned from a vacation of sipping drinks by the pool, lounging all day without a care in the world, and thought, wow, I've really grown as a person? Probably not. But we've all faced loss, heartache, disappointment, pain, and grief, and depending on how we handled those situations, they allowed us to grow or break. Every relationship I've had that ended in heartache has made me a better person. While this might not be the best example, almost all of us has gone through experiences such as these and changed for the better. I faced death and lost friends while fighting in Iraq. That experience changed me, but most people can't relate to this beyond what we see depicted in movies. Some of my friends who fought beside me didn't grow, but rather continued to suffer from that experience. Sometimes a situation is beyond our capability to handle, and it creates suffering we cannot overcome, but it is not the severity of the event that decides, but how we face it. Some of the most inspiring people who have ever walked this planet were challenged in ways that would break most of us, yet they conquered, and through the tragedies they became the people we venerate. It is not the severity of the problems we face in life. To live is to know pain and loss, but how we act in situations of chaos and calamity that genuinely defines who we are. Even if those situations are mundane struggles of trying to pay bills when we don't have money, showing up to a job we dislike, or dealing with health problems or injuries, we have a choice regarding how we see the situation and what path we take. It's usually not a massive event like war, but the death of a loved one, a divorce, or a pandemic that breaks us. We know we can survive these challenges. It's the small ongoing battles that have no end in sight that bring us to our knees and cripple our spirit. I had a tough childhood, or at least I perceived it as hard. For children, how good or bad the situation ultimately was has less significance than how they emotionally remember the situation. The same is true for adults. But as a child, I hated my life. I suffered from depression and panic attacks. I never told anyone about my struggles, and in turn, I never received any help. The only thing that kept me going was that I knew whatever my situation was, it would eventually change. As I got older and gained more control over my life, I realized I could change any situation that caused me grief and suffering. There are many times when we need to face challenges and endure the struggles of daily life because they are a part of life. But we don't need to suffer. Instead, we can grow because of those struggles. Every obstacle we face is a fork in the road requiring us to decide how to proceed. While the right choice might not always be clear, we can almost always turn around and choose a different outcome. We are fortunate to have tools to help us navigate through pain, challenge, and uncertainty. The unknown always creates the biggest fear, but until we breathe our last breath and step into the great unknown, the breath remains the one certainty to guide us safely along our course. Even before I knew anything about the breath and its vast capabilities, I knew that when life brought me to the edge, my breath would bring me back. These breath sequences are tools for living. Sometimes they act as a map to bring us back on course, and sometimes they act as a vehicle to carry us beyond our limits. The sequences I have shared with you can be used as suggested, transformed for other intentions, or serve as scaffolds for you to create your own sequences to help you navigate life. The concepts, physiology, philosophies, and practices in this book are resources that we can use to create positive change. Breathing is not a practice, it is a requirement for life. Learning to breathe right is preventative medicine for the mind and body. And just like every challenge gives us opportunity for betterment, so does every breath.